Hello, everybody. We are those guys you hate.
Welcome to the show that encourages you to be your best self by not being like us.
My brother and I hopelessly search for nuance as we wade through wacky segments and crazy conversations.
If you can withstand the insanity, you might actually learn something.
Tyler, what are you going to be talking about this week?
Ryan, air. It's important.
Heard that?
And unions. What about you, Ryan?
Tyler, this week I am going to quiz you on what reality truly is as we discuss the Mandala effect, and we also discuss dealing with the monotony of excellence. So, let's begin our journey. Your parents are going to die.
Yeah.
Your parents are going to die, and much like that friend who will tell you you got a booger hanging from your nose, I'm going to be real with you. I think we should discuss it. What do you think about it, Tyler?
Sure. Everybody's going to die, Ryan. That's the way life works. It ends in death.
Chuck Norris?
Gonna die.
Are we still making Chuck Norris jokes?
No, because all of them have already been made.
Really?
Yeah.
Now they just Chuck Boris. Now, here's the thing. Why do people not want to talk about the finality of their parents?
I think people have a hard time discussing the finality of death in terms of anybody, but specifically in terms of our parents, it hurts to think about their personality, their essence not being here anymore and being able to interact with them.
Well, and just watching them age, where just by definition, things get sapped away from you. Your powers weaken as you get older. I will tell you, in their advanced age, it takes mom about 2.5 weeks to tell a story at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like pulling teeth. I love you, mommy, but we need a tight 5 out of you. You know what I mean?
Sure. And it really makes me respect the need to get all my stories out now.
Sure.
Because God only knows what kind of mumbling mess I'm going to be then.
I don't think we're going to make it that far, not in longevity, but just in mental, capacity.
Sure.
So I have a real problem here, because what you want to do is you want to get yourself ready. You want to think about these things. And unfortunately, Tyler, as you well know, I can't see pictures in my mind. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, and you use it as an excuse for anything you can try to get away with.
What are you talking about?
That have nothing to do.
Tyler, it's a handicap. I'm being dead serious.
Well, that I agree with.
It's a handicap, and it's really tough on me.
It's not tough on you.
It is very tough on me.
It's not tough on you.
I have memory issues. I couldn't even remember the word for memory right there. Nonetheless, I don't want to fight with you right now. You're being a dick. What I do want to do is I want to practice this a little bit.
You want to milk it.
I do, but let's finish the show.
Yucky.
I want to practice this a little bit because I can't run over these things in my head. I want to get ready for when this actually happens. I want to practice a little bit. I want to do a cold runner. You ready?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Ow.
You got to pick up the phone, Tyler.
Click. I don't do sound effects.
Pick up the phone, Tyler.
There is no phone to pick up.
Hey, Tyler, this is improv. Yes, and. Yes.
Who is this?
Tyler, it's me. It's Ryan. It's your brother, Ryan Menendez.
Hey, buddy.
What's up? Are you?
I'm good, man. I prefer to text. Not sure why you're...
I'm sorry. Tyler, do you remember mom and dad?
Yes.
They're dead.
No, they're not.
Tyler, they're dead.
What are you doing right now?
Tyler, I'm just trying to...
The annoying sound effect killing our parents.
You
can't drown me out, man.
All that I'm saying is that people should... I know these things kind of feel terrible to bandy about, but I think that we should kind of try to feel some of these things before they happen.
Well, I think there are healthy conversations to be had around the subject. Absolutely. The acknowledgement and acceptance that life does come to an end. We don't need to see it as a, given the circumstances, if somebody's lived a full life, we don't need to see it as a negative.
Well, and I think what you just said is acceptance. Where our pain comes from is just not wanting for reality to be real. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into that today while talking about the Mandala effect. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Tyler.
and we are still those guys you hate. What is going on, everybody, and what is going on to you? Tyler, welcome back another week here in the studio. It is another of those guys you hate.
Hello.
Welcome, Tyler. I'm excited to be doing another show with you. What number is this? 468 or
134?
How about that, Tyler?
How about
Good old
that?
134. You know what that was in beeper code?
You love. I don't remember. What is it?
I don't think anything.
No.
This week, I am going to be talking about the Mandala effect, Tyler. The Mandala effect. What do you know about Mandala effect?
Well, it's something that was coined after a large section of the population had thought that Nelson Mandela had died, when in fact, I believe he was still in prison. And then when he was released from prison after, 30 years? People were shocked to learn that he was actually still alive. It had been accepted widely that he had died.
Everybody thought that he had died in the 1980s. And what do you credit that to? So in other words, what this is, it's a fake piece of information that is commonly believed. So in other words,
you see it a lot throughout movies too, like a certain scene that everybody agrees happened, or a scene that didn't happen, like Wizard of Oz. I believe the Scarecrow had a gun in one of the scenes, which was the Nelson Mandela effect.
I saw that too, and I'm like, this is like the Bourne Identity before the Bourne Identity. This is badass. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the Wizard of Oz where the Scarecrow had a gun.
Yeah.
I've heard of the hanging little person.
But that's a myth that you can actually go and see in the movie itself.
Well, all of these things are. I'm glad that you said that. The famous line from Star Wars where, what's his name? The guy with the black helmet?
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, sure. I think that's right.
Or Dark Helmet, depending on what version you prefer.
The famous line from Darth Vader to Luke was?
No, I am your father.
Very good. Everybody thinks it is Luke, I am your father. But it's not. Very good.
Great James Earl Jones impression.
Is that who it was? Jeez, spoiler alert, Tyler. So, wait.
Good on them. Having interracial relationships in the past, which is also the future. Whatever it is.
Who had interracial? Wait, hold on.
Well, James Earl Jones was black, and
what?
And Mark Hamill is white.
Wow.
Hence the interracial joke that I made just
That's
now.
pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good. I'm sure it'll get edited out. So what you and I are going to do.
You never support me.
Especially not now. What you and I are going to do, as I put it together on the fly, is play, I don't know, the Mandala effect.
All right.
I had no idea what was going to happen when I hit that button. Are you ready, Tyler?
You're going to have to explain that because that sound effect nailed it.
I got to tell you, that put a lot of pressure on this segment that I don't think is going to work its way up. That made this sound like it was totally badass.
You better live up to that hype right there.
Man, I am worried. Now, not only do I have throughout the show, I'm going to let you try to picture in your mind's eye. Let's really give this a go. I am not only going to tell you whether you're right or wrong about how you remember some of these famous things.
Oh, I'm excited.
So I am going to give you two options. And what I really want you to do, serious, is think about it in your mind's eye and see if you can actually pull back some of these things and see if you're afflicted by the Mandala effect yourself. Are you ready, Tyler?
You got it. Let's do this.
Now, this one may be before your time, and I think this is probably the most famous one.
Well, most of time was before my time.
Tyler, you're being a dick right now. Do you remember the Berenstain Bears?
I do. I actually used to read the books when I was younger.
But a wee lad.
If I remember correctly, some of them got pretty dark. Some of them were very darkly themed.
In terms of what?
Just in terms of how they were drawn, illustrated, and
Really?
whatnot. It used to creep me out as a kid, but there wasn't a very high standard to meet.
Okay, we can review because I don't recall that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So Berenstain Bears, Tyler, do you remember it? Berenstain, S-T-A-I-N or S-T-E-I-N? Now, before you answer it, really think about it. Can you remember as a kid that picture. I know it's such a minor memory, but I think that's a big part of how this works.
Well, and it's a difference between the two names is pretty
minor.
But
just like whether Nelson Mandela died or went on to become the South African leader. It's very minor, and I think that's how these things work.
You really got to look into the gray area of these things.
Honestly, who cares? I'm just kidding.
Jeez,
I'm just kidding.
Dude.
I respect you, I'm sure. I don't know a lot about you, but I respect you.
And you saved it.
Diplomacy, Tyler. Google it.
I want to say that it's the Bearstein Bears.
The Barons, you can see it on the front of the book.
That's what calls to me in my body.
So you're saying the Berenstein Bears is how it would be.
Stein.
Berenstein Bears. Oh, Tyler,
I'm
you've been
afflicted.
Mandala in the buttocks. Now I'm going to ask you one more. I'm not good at verbs, Tyler.
That's like you just rolled 2 dice. It's like you just rolled 2 dice. And one of them has a body part and the other one has a random person.
I have to lick your nose? Shit. That's, you know what? That'd be great for the show if you and I got some of those sex dice and we just played it out on the show.
What?
Content, Tyler. Just constant.
What are you talking about?
All right. Well, you know what? Let's not have show meetings on the air. We'll discuss this.
I don't mean to be a prude.
You're being a bit of a prude, Tyler. You have to massage my toe webbing.
Somehow.
All right, here we go. Now, does the mascot for the board game Monopoly, do you know his name, by the way?
No.
What do you call him? The mascot for the board game Monopoly.
The mascot for the board game Monopoly.
Yeah, you call him the Monopoly Man.
The Monopoly Man,
right.
Yeah.
His name is actually Rich Uncle Pennybags.
What a dick.
Yeah.
That really changes my view of him. Really does.
Those trickle down in economics just really ended up, I don't understand how trickle down economics
I
works.
acknowledge that our names are not our choice. I get it. But dude, you're a man now. You're an adult. You have the ability to change it.
Take responsibility for your actions.
Come on.
Mr. Rich Uncle Pennybags. Now, Rich Uncle Pennybags, the Monopoly Man, does he wear a monocle? Before you answer, Monopoly is what, the most famous board game of all time? It's got to be, right?
Yeah, I would say
we can
so.
review it. That
Sure.
could be fun.
That or Jumanji. Thank you, Robin Williams.
We don't talk about that in this house, Tyler. Does he wear a monocle? See it in your mind.
I'm immediately saying yes. I'm immediately saying yes. He is a rich, highfalutin douchebag,
Sure.
and he is on the side watching me buy the railways. He knows that's a shitty purchase and just rubbing his monocle over his eye, snooty at me.
We're assuming he has one good eye. I would guess that he has a monocle as well. Does he have a monocle? He does not. The Monopoly Man, as well known as Rich Uncle Pennybags, does not wear a monocle.
I don't think that's well known.
I would have guessed that he did as well. And that's so interesting that so many people have that same memory.
But what kind of rich person are you? You're going to walk around with a top hat and you don't have a fucking monocle?
You do look like an asshole. It's making us angry, much like your name. Let's talk about it in the Depression Index.
No one cares. You don't.
What? The Depression Index? Would somebody please get that phone? It is a machine that we crank up every week to let you know how down we are. Tyler.
It's Mom. I'm ignoring her.
How do you do? I was about to hit it again. How do you do?
I was doing better, but since you've rang that phone in my eardrums.
Let freedom ring, Tyler.
Multiple times. It's gone up a few times. I'm just going to jump right into my theme for the week. It's very short, very simple. I'm using this Depression Index as your weekly reminder to breathe. Ryan, my brother. Breathe with me. Deep breath. Yeah.
Feels good, Tyler. Feels so good.
That air in. I am not saying that breathing deeply is a panacea. It's not going to fix all your problems, but it does really help in relieving those really minor, minute, unconscious issues that we have. It really relaxes the body. Remember to do it.
I agree. And also to deal with your minor issues, get one of those helmets with the light on the front.
A miner's helmet?
We don't serve minors here, Tyler. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I was reading a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari because I'm in on the self-help because I have self-esteem problems. And he was discussing that most people do not breathe correctly just in terms of how shallow you are breathing. You are not taking in enough oxygen to properly run the mechanisms that are your body.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you. It wasn't me. It was that other guy.
Well said while stealing it.
I agree.
Yes, remember to breathe, ladies and gentlemen. Do it one more time. And Ryan, for this week, that's a good breath right there.
Thank you.
I am at a 6.
So
Ryan.
now we are
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's a lot for you, Tyler.
You.
Why are you at a 6? You've been
I'm just carrying around these heavy emotions and I'm trying to relieve them, but they just don't want to let go. And so I'm dragging my feet, Ryan.
going through it, Tyler. Well, you know what? Gay it up. I think I have to legally say that. Gay it up. I think really where I got my idea of where I was going, of what I was going to talk about this week was through observing you. And what I mean by that is you've been doing great recently and you've been on such an upward trajectory that I think sometimes you settle into the monotony of excellence. Once you're down in the dumps and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to work out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you start doing it. You feel great. You're flooded with those emotions. I'm finally accomplishing what I wanted to get done. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I am discussing?
Oh yeah. I hit those peaks many times over the course of my life in terms of working out, because that was one of the grandest ideas I had was if I could just get my body the way that I could picture it in my head, everything else will fall into place.
The most elusive of things.
Which is just, it's never true. It will never come true, ladies and gentlemen.
That is, and you know what? We're going to be talking about that a little bit more later on, because I have something that I thought was interesting from one Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tyler. I think what happens is after you've done that and you felt those feelings and then you start to sustain it, I think that excellence can be very lonely. I think that being great on a day-to-day basis can be extremely monotonous. Mm-hmm. Doing those things, once you've passed that first leg of your journey where you're like, I'm doing it, I'm impressing myself and others, now continuing on with it and not being like, I've been doing good for the last couple of months. I could eat a little bit of this, or I could skip today at the gym. Mm-hmm. I think that is where the next leg of the journey starts.
Yeah, well said. I think it's difficult, but ultimately necessary.
I agree. And just to, acknowledge that you're doing a great job. And
you're fucking killing it,
man.
You're killing it. You're killing it.
But you're not breathing enough. So get your shit together this week.
You're killing yourself.
I'm at a 2, Tyler.
Whoa.
I got a lot of crazy shit going on in my life, as I've said, week after week after week after week. Here's the secret. It'll never stop until you're dead. I am still feeling good. This week, I'm at a 2.
Yeah.
1, 2.
I'll take that.
2. Now, Tyler, we've got a lot going on this week. I know you've got a good, the bad, the interesting coming up.
Oh, Ryan, and I am so sorry. I made a mistake. I told you all I...
Nope, you told me only one thing. I'm sorry, Tyler.
We're locked in for the week.
You're not doing it.
I have a GBI, but I also, come on, I have to do a happy death day.
No, Tyler!
You know I have to.
Why do you not respect the way that I put the blood, the sweat, and the toil that I put in? Go ahead.
He's about to eat again in the middle of the show.
You're gonna take the microphone, Tyler. Take the microphone.
My stream deck has stopped working, so I'm gonna drop the...
This is pathetic.
I know, it's not great. You're not making this any easier for me. Ryan!
Yes.
Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96. What? Man, that is going to be a tough edit. I don't know what I'm going to do there at the end opening of this segment.
Wait, what happened to her?
She was 96. What do you mean what happened to her? She turned 96. It is... isn't it a weird time to bring up that it's 2022 and we're still referring to people in the world as a king or a queen?
Now,
That's nutty.
Do we dislike Queen Elizabeth?
Can you answer my question first?
I'm going to. Is she a bad person, a good person, somewhere in between?
How could I possibly answer that? Because people who live in colonies that were seized forcibly by force don't view her all that well because their ancestors were... murdered and killed for their land.
Nothing worse than when somebody acts forcibly by force. That is the worst weekend. That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, it was double the force.
Oh, man. Double the flavor, double the force. You guys are fucked. The redcoats are coming.
But if you live in Britain and you've done very well off of maybe her policies, off of some of her
economic decisions,
very much so, then obviously you would view her
I'd
favorably.
pound that.
I think I is that a currency joke?
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, what else would it be? It's hilarious.
That's great, buddy.
It's as good as your intro to this segment.
Yeah, I'm not really doing all that well right now. I'm a bit scatterbrained.
No, you're doing great, Tyler.
Nevertheless,
we're having fun.
She took the position at the age of 25.
Yeah.
You're 40. I'm 34. What are we doing with our lives, Ryan?
When her uncle died? Or
when her father abdicated the throne.
And what does abdicated mean? He died?
No, he gave it up because he wanted to marry a divorcee.
Oh, that's right.
And they wouldn't allow it.
That hussy. Wow,
yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, true love, Ryan.
That's
true
nuts,
love.
man. And you know what? That is beautiful. I love that. That's like Shrek.
Wait, what?
I don't remember the movie that well, but you know what I'm saying. Just romantic. Like
Who's the ogre in this
situation?
I
mean, don't make me say it.
Well, as I said, she took her position in 1952, and she was at the age of 25 when she just gave it up. It was given to her just like kind of like, all right, here you go. And that might be her greatest achievement in everything she's done, because within the previous 5 years of her taking the throne at such a young age, think of this, her empire was crumbling. Within the last 5 years before she took the throne, the countries of Jordan, Pakistan, India, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka all voted to become independent. And that was just within 5 years of her taking the throne.
Wow.
All these different colonies were finally becoming independent. And so she's taking the throne over, and she helped to modernize, bring the throne into the modern era, into the 20th and the 21st century.
Which is crazy.
She embraced technology as it showed up. These things...
Well, good on you.
These things usually end, and by things, I mean these empires across time, usually end in fire and murder. And while it has transitioned into a more ceremonial position, it is still alive and well, as you see across the pond.
So if I'm reading this correctly, I think that we like her, Tyler. Do we like her?
I don't have any problems with her, but I mean, just admit that you're German, lady. Just admit that you're German.
Week in review, we find out her actual name. No, I'm not going to do that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, Waka Flocka Flame.
Admit to your lineage, people.
We want to see your papers. She was born in Hawaii. All right,
why did it
Tyler.
take you so long to give them out?
I demand it. Great job, Tyler. And I'm sorry to Prince Charles, the King. King Charles?
King Charles.
Wow.
He is now King Charles. Why are you sorry to him?
I lost his mommy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, and that's crazy because you look at him and you're like, man, he is up there in age.
He's
and
an old man.
His mother was alive for that long.
He's an old man.
Crazy.
And that is Happy Death Day.
Do you think he's happy in any way?
I don't know the deep, dark demons that go on in that world. You got Prince Andrew over there. You don't know.
We don't talk about him.
We do talk about, you're thinking of Bruno. We do talk about him.
We do.
I think it's very important that we talk about him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's
So-
not just little people.
Who knows?
Young people.
What Prince Charles is actually like growing up in that sheltered environment. He may blink sideways being a lizard person.
But I also don't mean he's happy that she died. I'm just saying, do you think there's joy in the fact that, like, holy shit, I'm king?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah,
You've waited your whole life for this. How many times do I got to poison you, old lady? Tyler, I need you to get in.
This is a boat we've used before.
It is because unfortunately, and I'm not making a joke here, we're going to Pakistan.
Oh.
You know what's going on in Pakistan, Tyler?
I mean, I know they and India don't get along very much.
Sure. And I know you're pro-India and...
Whoa, no.
Are you not?
I'm pro-peace.
Oh, okay.
Pro-peace. I wish they didn't fight.
Okay. I'll take that. Really waffling here, Tyler. But Pakistan has already experienced 3 times as much rain as it does in an average year this year.
Wow.
They are having what is, being bandied about as monsoons on steroids, Tyler. And it has killed 1,160 people so far.
Holy shit.
A third of Pakistan is underwater.
Damn, and Pakistan isn't exactly a small country.
I am not good with geography, but what I will tell you is, man, this world is on fire. It is a crazy time to be a human.
And it just so happens that you're seeing photos across the internet of people here in the States where it's the opposite. The water is running out. And now when they turn their faucets on to take a shower, it's like brown. It's basically soil coming out of their pipes.
Why is that?
Because there's no water left. So everything that's being dredged up is from the very bottom of the basin,
I've always
so to speak.
wondered that, where people tell you don't waste water. How do you waste water? I understand it and I follow it as best I can. How does that work?
Well, I don't know the intricacies of where the water goes after we've used it because I think it goes to a processing
Water
plant
treatment
of some kind.
plant, sure.
But in terms of the water sources, those are lakes, those are aquifers. Those are locations that are getting lower and lower than they've ever been.
Wow.
Year over year. This isn't, the thing is it's not supposed to be happening this fast. Crazy weather shit happens all the time. It's not supposed to change this fast.
Sure. Well, like I said, Pakistan is dealing with its climate change, which isn't real. And we are, we're kind of reaping what we sow, Tyler? Is that?
For something that's not real, it sure is effing us in the A.
Sure. No, it's theater of the mind is in my living room right now up to my knees. So our prayers go out to all the people who are going through that, Tyler.
Did you really lead me into that conversation by saying I'm pro-India? That was a weird way to prop me up in going into a Pakistan conversation.
Weird stance to take. Let's do some Mandala effect.
Peace? You're going to get me stabbed, bro. People take that seriously.
You do it to yourself.
Take some responsibility.
Now, Tyler.
I poo-poo on your sound effect.
Your mind's eye. Use it. Does the monkey in the children's book series Curious George have a tail? Before you say it, think. You know Curious George, of course.
Of course, I was read his stories as a child.
That man in the yellow hat.
Very selfish monkey, by the way.
Bad monkey.
Very selfish monkey.
He's a bad monkey. I agree with you.
And the man in the all yellow outfit, first of all, odd fashion choice.
Sure.
Second of all.
No. He was wearing those hats that everybody wears now decades, I say, before they were doing it.
But his whole suit was yellow.
Sure.
He looked like a big old banana.
Sure.
Now I get it.
What? Oh, wow,
big
Tyler.
banana monkey.
Wow.
He was an enabler. All jokes aside, that man enabled that monkey.
Well, the monkey he was enabling, did it have a tail?
I'm going to say, yes, it did, Ryan.
Tyler says Curious George had a tail.
You got to be shitting me.
Tyler is 0 for 3. That is incredible. Now,
damn you, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, he's bad, dude. Now
don't double down.
You're really trying here, right?
Of course.
That's pretty crazy.
Of course.
That's very good. All right, now this one, I think that you're actually going to get right just because of who you are. What is the name
Thank you.
of the 1990s children film about a wish-granting genie? Is it Kazam or Shazam? Is it Kazam or Shazam? And this movie was starring
Shaquille O'Neal.
Very good, yes.
I remember the scene where he made it rain candy and sweets. It was amazing.
And that's how kids got diabetes, Tyler.
That is true.
Was it Kazam or was it Shazam giving all those kids diabetes?
Well, the thing is, and here's the odd thing, is my brain wants to say it is Shazam, but I am remembering Shaquille O'Neal's voice on the magic bicycle as he rides through the sky. I am Kazam. I'm going to say Kazam.
Hey, Tyler Dunn did it.
I got one. I'm on the board.
Eat that, Nelson Mandela.
And Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, especially you, Shaquille O'Neal.
For whatever reason.
And when we come back, we'll feed you some more. What's going on, everybody? Ryan Menendez here. Now, I know that you're such a fan of this podcast, you already know it, but part of this advertising is me explaining shit to you that you already know. Buckle up. So much of this podcast is based on me being a total kook. Now, a bunch of people have reached out to me, and they have let me know that they want to be a kook too. Now, this isn't something that you just stumble on. It doesn't happen by accident. You gotta put in practice. 10,000 hours, am I right? So what you need to do is read the books that I read. Now, what we've done is we have signed up to work with Audible so you can read the books to become a kook like me. THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com. Now, here's what Audible wants. They want for you to go over there and get a free book that I'm offering you so you can read, you can get on board, you could sink below the waters and end up in the same place that I am. And what they're hoping is that you'll get that free book, you'll sign up, and then you'll forget to unsign up, and then they can charge you at least once, okay? You know it, I know it, we all know it. Beat the system by breaking that contract before that happens, or stay with them and continue to learn and grow and flourish like a big boy. So if you go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com right now, all of my reading recommendations are there. You could sign up and get the book for free, and then you have 30 days to cancel your membership, and you don't get beat on the deal. You know you won't because you're lazy. That's why you haven't moved out of your parents' house. We love you. Thank you for supporting Those Guys You Hate, and let's get back to the show.
Those guys.
Birds do it.
I'm not saying that it is wrong.
They seem pretty smart.
Yeah, bird brain. That's what you call somebody when you want to. Wise as an old owl.
And
there.
you want to insult somebody, you call him Einstein. It's calling him a human being is the biggest insult to their intelligence. Bird brain, I say we make it a positive.
You hate.
I know that you're wrong, but I can't figure out how to argue against what you just said.
So I think that technically makes me right.
I think you're right here.
Woo!
I'm bowing out respectfully.
Those guys.
Red circle.
I'm
gonna get sued one of these days.
Tyler. Oh, I'm not saying that. We're gonna cut that out. Tyler. Yep, Alabama almost lost, buddy. Old pal, old friend.
Yeah, gotcha. Yes, yeah. It was down to the wire. Kicked a field goal right at the end. Almost had that sweet, sweet taste of enemy defeat. But they won.
More like Nick Satan, am I right? Tyler.
No,
what?
that's too
What are you talking about?
You can't call somebody Satan,
What?
man.
I didn't.
That's not cool.
I put Nick at the front of it. That's his name.
That's not cool.
Tyler, yesterday I was at the bar and I was having a discussion with one of my coworkers about body dysmorphia. I was describing how men can also have body dysmorphia. I have had body dysmorphia, still do to some degree.
Sure, everybody can. It's not a gender thing.
Agreed, but
Yeah.
I think it's more commonly associated with women. Is that fair?
And I think it's fair to say that it is more commonly associated with women simply because the pressure that is put on them societally compared to men.
Well, what this woman was telling me is that when she was out of shape, she was more confident. She didn't feel those pressures as she does now that she's working out.
What kind of pressures? What do you mean?
Just before, she didn't feel good about herself and she accepted that. And now that she's trying to maintain and take care of herself, she's putting these pressures on herself that she didn't have before.
Oh, okay, sure.
So I described how I've gone through my life with, I think most people would say, a good physique. It's just generally been pretty easy for me.
Sexy.
Just because I'm not much of an eater.
Mhm.
So, and with all that being said, I've always seen myself in a different way. Lo and behold, today I stumble upon a picture of one Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I do. He was Mr.
Governor?
Mr. Universe for however many years in a row.
Sure. I wonder if there are planets out there who are like, we got people bigger than him.
Yeah. It's kind of like when people who win the Super Bowl say we're world champions.
Yeah.
It's like, you really haven't given everybody a shot.
Yeah, we don't play that crap over here. So I stumbled into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Could you do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression?
Absolutely not.
Could you try?
Absolutely not. I'd like to hear yours.
Get down. What do you think?
It's not terrible.
Hold on. Get down.
I will admit, you've done two examples, both of them the same. It's very limited. It's very, very limited.
All right, ready? Get to the chopper.
It's not that bad.
Thank you. I
It's not that
appreciate
bad.
it.
It's not that bad.
He was talking about how he looks at himself in the mirror now,
Mhm.
and he is disgusted by his body. Are you?
Oh,
what's your
that
take?
hurts.
What's your take on that?
It hurts to hear, but I mean, I can only imagine the better shape you are when you're young, especially when so much of your identity revolves around how you look. That is literally your claim to fame is your
Sure.
body. And to go into older age and lose that because you can't keep it, it's impossible. There's a lot of absolutes you have to come to terms with and let go of. And that, as we've spoken about in the past, that is terrifying.
I think you hit the nail on the head. When you are good looking, when you are known for being at the top of your field in your physical fitness,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is how it is easy to fall into these body dysmorphia roles. You want to see some insecurity, and obviously I'm generalizing here. I'll show you, the hottest women who get all these compliments for being pretty. All of a sudden in their mind, that's the only thing that matters.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
This is what he said. I was already so critical of myself, even when I was in top physical shape. I'd look in the mirror after I won one Mr. Olympia after another and think, how did this pile of shit win?
Mm.
I mean, isn't that super interesting? I
Yeah.
think a lot of times you don't think about the big giant men that have these frailties, that have these vulnerabilities. And I would say the people who are at the top of the charts as far as bodybuilding, I bet you damn near to a 1 that every single one of those people have body dysmorphia. They wouldn't push themselves that hard if they didn't feel like there was something wrong with them.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is in order to be at that level, to have a body like that, you need a certain obsession about this thing in order to achieve that.
And that obsession generally comes with not being good enough.
Well, sure. It's like, how do you think Michael Jackson, how do you think Michael Jordan made it to the top of the sport? Because he was obsessive about how he won and wanting to be the best. And I think he might have obsessed a little bit more than everybody else.
Seems like kind of a dick. And how do you think Michael Jackson stayed in such good shape, Ryan?
Let's just jump right into our good.
Good news, everyone.
Ryan, the city of New York, or more specifically, the Department of Consumer and Worker Protections. They have sued Starbucks on behalf of former employee Austin Locke, a 6-year employee who was terminated after the store voted to unionize, him being the union organizer.
Didn't you talk about this on a previous episode?
Well, I talked specifically about Starbucks and their practices along with Amazon and whatnot, but this is a specific story relating to them. I haven't talked about this one specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, Mr. Locke losing his job is not good, but this is the first time this law, which was passed in 2017, will be put into practice defending a worker. So this is, go ahead.
And what happened was he wanted to unionize and so they got rid of him.
They did unionize, and he was the leader of that movement. And after the store voted to unionize, they fired him.
Just as a retaliatory action?
I mean,
I like that. I like that. Keep it petty. I like that. I think there should be more pettiness in business.
Well, all the power would go to, again, those at the top. They have the most resources to be petty.
Sign on the line, doo-doo head.
All right, looks like I'm going this alone. Well, Ryan,
I got you. I'm back.
This is just another step in empirical evidence that unions and the protections therein are ramping up day after day, week after week. And each one of these instances is a win for the workers.
So in other words, what unions do is they protect the workers and their rights, and the companies who are paying these workers don't want that. They want for their workers to be treated unfairly and to get the best that they can off of human labor.
Well, right now, you're pretty much at the whim of your boss. They decide how much they pay, how they're going to punish you, all of that. With a union, when they make those decisions, you have a lawyer or lawyers in the room with them going, no, you don't get to just do that.
Wow. You know, Tyler, until this moment, I didn't fully understand that idea. Seriously.
We've spoken about this at length before.
Sure, but I don't think you put it in those terms. Sometimes it just clicks.
Yeah. It's whenever there are people in a room making a decision on you as a worker, you now have a representative in that room fighting for you.
I dig that.
Yeah. It's insurance for your livelihood.
I dig that.
Now, Ryan, into our bed. What was a 4-day manhunt for the two brothers, Damian and Miles Sanderson? Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Well, as you say from time to time, Ryan, the age of the serial killer is all but dead.
Yeah.
Now,
thanks a lot, Nokia.
Now is the time of?
The spree killer.
The spree killer.
You got to get it all out, man. You got to shake the sillies out.
Maybe not the time to be dropping those kind of jokes.
Why? What's going to happen? Is something bad?
What are you leading up to?
You do have a foreboding kind of vibe to you.
Well, the two suspects were hunted for the stabbing death of 10 people and the injury of 18 others in an indigenous village in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Okay. And
they went on a spree and in one night stabbed to death 10 people and almost killed another 18, but wounded them.
Why?
That is a good question, Ryan. We can't really tell.
And these are two actual brothers.
Two brothers, one 30, the other 31. They're right then and there next to each other.
That is the time, I believe, where people really lose it. I think that there is
they nailed it.
We can review. Yeah.
Somebody go check on Taylor Swift.
No, I think that at that age is where it's the culmination of your youth. Maybe I'm wrong about that. We can review.
Yep. Well, on the day of the massacre, when the manhunt began, younger brother Damian was found dead outside of a house at the scene. with what police said appeared to be visible injuries that did not appear to be self-inflicted, and the New York Times even reported that he was stabbed to death.
So his brother killed him, is what you're saying?
That seems to be what happened. They went on this spree.
Is that shocking though?
Man, you got to kill people together, at least live together as well.
Tyler, have you never seen the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you got to take each other out one by one. There can only be one at the end, Tyler.
So that's the moral of his story.
It's like King of the Raft. There can only be one person standing.
It's like Lord of the Flies, but the kids have grown up.
I think that if you are in that kind of a spree killing, I mean, anything is possible.
Well, certainly, but man, you can't even trust your brother that you just killed a bunch of people with.
That's unfortunate.
Who can you trust, Ryan?
That's a good question.
The older brother was finally stopped 4 days later, where he took his own life with a knife.
Wow.
Before police could actually arrest him.
I wonder how he did that. Like, cut his throat or something?
They didn't specify.
That's crazy. That's a terrible way to go.
2 things about this story before we move on to our interesting. First, the 2 guys were from the village that they attacked. I thought it was 2 people that came into the village to commit some kind of hate crime.
Sure.
It was 2 citizens of the village.
Now, do we know how big this village is?
It was 1,900 people.
Okay,
it's
so
a very small
village. That's less than people at my high school.
Out of the 10 people who died, this isn't one of the facts, but I remember from reading it, out of the 10 people who died, 6 of them are from the exact same extended family. Wow. Some family just lost 6 members in one night.
I'm wondering if that has something to do with it, if it was, or maybe that's just a crime of convenience. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, if they're in one house and they're all there, who knows?
Like Ted Bundy in the college, you know?
Yes. Oh God, that must have been terrifying. I know I'm saying the obvious, but I can't even imagine with him just over you.
Forget over you. He used like a table leg. He didn't use a knife.
Like a blunt instrument.
He bludgeoned people deeply and terribly. Just bashed them and ran from room to room.
Can we just not bludgeon people to death?
Is that too much to ask?
Is that too much to ask, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the second and last thing I will say about this, the older brother, Miles, had 59 criminal convictions and was serving a 4-year sentence when he was released in February. The parole board wrote, and I fucking quote,
"Wow.
It is the board's opinion that you will not present an undue risk to society if released on statutory release."
I just picture somebody standing out front of the courthouse going, "He's good. Hey, he's good. He's good. It's on my word. He's good."
Look at his face.
He's
That's
good.
not an innocent face.
That's pretty crazy,
It's
man.
crazy. And now even Justin Trudeau has said we need an investigation.
What's his name? What was his name?
Justin Trudeau. Thank you. Has even said we need an investigation into how this happened and if any mistakes were made.
Devilishly handsome.
He is. I'm going to go ahead and say mistakes were made, Justin. Mistakes were made.
Okay, maybe we dropped the ball. Yeah, that's awful, man. And we make jokes here, but what an awful existence for one family, for I'm sure lots of families.
For the community.
It's really terrible.
A community that small who goes through something that tragic, it shifts a community for life.
Sure.
There is no getting past that.
Hopefully it brings them together as opposed to makes it more torturous on them. And hopefully there's some understanding. Hopefully they figure out what the purpose was here. Maybe just a little bad meth.
Well, that's the thing. They had spoken to different people throughout the community, and some people had spoken to, and it is known in indigenous communities where substance abuse runs high.
Why do you think that is?
That's a good question. I mean, if you were to go into indigenous communities' history, you would find some pretty fucked up things that were done to them as a society.
Sure.
But
do you think that still echoes out to these future generations?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at Native Americans. They were almost wiped off the earth, and then so many of them became alcoholics. Their culture, their families were destroyed. How could it not affect you negatively as a society?
I think that's true. And also, I think a big portion of it is, and this is me just spitballing, at this point now, there's a lot of idle behavior because they are given money just to live, right?
Consumerism.
Right.
Here's funds, do whatever you want with it.
Sure, and I think that, idle hands can be a negative if you're not keeping your mental faculties, in line. Like what you're saying is they're already dealing with some shit. Now you just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's
without a healthy goal, it just turns into striving like we did without the funds, striving for the highs of the body.
Yeah.
And that's always going to turn you into a blob of just
nothingness.
Yeah. Who wants that?
There's a lot of societies, there's a lot of cultural problems that we're dealing with in the world and will forever. And it's weird how they specifically work in one particular, all cultures, all societies have their own issues,
Absolutely. And it's what have we done as a society? And depending on the story, what has been done to us?
Sure.
And I mean, history is kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Any history you go into.
Pretty whack
Pretty
history.
bad.
And like our stepfather says, and I don't know if this is even apropos of what we're talking about, but it's something that's always stuck with me. Poor people kill each other. Rich people kill themselves. It's very interesting that what world we're born into almost dictates what kind of weaknesses, what kind of vulnerabilities we're going to be up against.
And I completely agree with that statement, except for the rich people who hunt the poor people. They kill each other.
The most dangerous of games,
Yeah,
Tyler.
yeah.
Man, you don't hunt man.
Interesting, Ryan.
That was pretty interesting.
It was.
Interesting and entertaining.
Scotland. You heard of it? Apparently, 1 in 5 women in Scotland can't afford period products.
What?
The government, yeah. Which is, I would imagine, a real problem.
Well, you wear those kilts, bro. You just let it go. I now have kilts and gilts.
Show name. You know what? I will genuinely say you saved it.
Thank God.
You're back.
Thank God.
Well, the government wanted to do something about that and created.
Why is that?
Why is what?
Is it just sweeping poverty? Why can women not afford?
If people don't have funds, they don't have money. They can't. It's
in
like
Scotland, it's bad.
Well, it's the same thing in here. You know how many thousands of children go to bed hungry every night? If we were to go off of that fact, we say, man, America's a hellhole.
That's still we're still doing that.
And we're still doing hungry children, Ryan.
Damn,
yes.
Dude. I thought they've graduated to hungry man. I'm sorry. And that one was no good. That is terrible. That is terrible. And I would imagine that is a problem that you don't want to not be equipped for,
Well, it's definitely something that a lot of people wouldn't want to be associated with and would kind of, as we see with so many problems here in our own country, would rather brush it to the side. Scotland doesn't want to do that. They appointed.
Why do you feel that way? Because it makes men uncomfortable to talk about.
What do you mean? Why do I feel what way?
That most people don't want to talk about that. Is it just menstruation that people want to avoid?
Oh, no. Well, first of all, yes, most leaders are men, and that does make plenty of men uncomfortable.
Sure.
But I also just mean it can so easily be looked at as a frivolous issue that doesn't need to be discussed. I don't even mean the disgust of the issue itself. I just mean the, let's say, lackluster attitude a lot of policymakers have these days.
Okay.
So
I understand.
I could see how people would see it as a minute issue, but Scotland is not taking that position.
Well, I think that if you want to become some form of government leader, you should have to work your way up. You should work in different places. You should build, this kind of complete idea of experience before you start making decisions for your constituency. Am I right?
Very well said.
So what I'm
Oh, wait, he's going
what
further.
I'm proposing is,
Okay, go ahead.
if you want to be a leader of men, you must first have earned your Red Wings.
God.
And when you're Scottish, I made you think I was being serious. And I was, Tyler. And I was.
How does that help our country in any way?
I don't know.
Red Wings. Urban Dictionary, look it up.
Yeah.
Then we're sorry.
If you're driving right now, go ahead and do it.
Well, just to close out this segment, I will just say that this actually has a little bit of a twist.
Okay.
The government wants to do something about this issue, so they created a new position, the Period Dignity Officer. This is true.
PDO.
Okay. Whose job it is to work for legal rights of free period products in public places. So when a woman goes to a public bathroom, there's those little dispensers where she can get those products.
Sure. I think that's beautiful.
Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Absolutely.
They gave the position to a man.
What?
Jason Grant.
Really?
Yes.
Jason, congratulations on your success, but I don't know, dude.
They got so much blowback, including death threats, that they had to abolish the position and now look for different means to accomplish the same goal.
PDO ended PDQ. That's shocking.
It was in a move to be forward thinking and just. You fucked it up at the end, man.
We will not accept this, period. That's
I see what you did.
That's
there.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not. I am not on the side of give a job to somebody specifically because they are a man or a woman or because they are white or they are black. But in this situation, you find a qualified person who is a woman.
Well, you almost as a sign of good faith. I mean, you're doing something here, and it shouldn't matter who it is. But why not put a woman in a position of power who this is her situation. You know what I mean? I like the idea as a whole.
And you always want somebody in a position of power who knows you'll be fighting for your rights.
Yep.
And if it's a fellow woman, of course she's going to. At least, hopefully.
I'm into it.
Those are politics. And that, Ryan, is GBI.
Nailed it, Tyler. Nailed it.
Thank you.
Are you ready for some more Mandala effect?
Please.
Never has a segment opening been so far away from what the segment is. We do the Mandala effect. Tyler!
It still works for me.
That old cartoon, one of my favorites of all time, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
Was it Looney Tunes, TOONS, or Looney Tunes, TUNES? Now, before you answer, genuinely think back to that. Remember the red circle
sure.
with the red circle?
Porky Pig.
With Porky Pig before he's popped out and he gets his big fat noggin in the way.
Jeez.
He had a big head, man.
He did, but he was.
I say.
That's Foghorn Leghorn. You do him every time.
Damn it. It's the only one I remember.
He calls to you.
Is it Looney Tunes? In your mind's eye, is it Looney Tunes or Looney Tunes?
This isn't speaking from the mind's eye. This is speaking from the heart.
Okay.
My heart says Looney Tunes, TUNES. You
say TUNES?
I do. Yeah!
Great job, Tyler. Damn.
Woo!
Wow, we got two more here. I'm actually happy that this has been as much of a competition as it actually was because I didn't know if you were going to fall for any of these. So this is good. It shows you that at least it's possible, whatever the hell it is. All right, Tyler. What is the name of the 1960s animated sitcom that takes place in a romanticized Stone Age setting, Tyler? Is it The Flintstones or is it The Flintstones?
Oh, the Flintstones or the Flintstones?
Meet the Flintstones.
Yeah, I'm going to go it's Flintstones. No T. Or no first T, excuse me.
You're saying that it is The Flintstones.
The Flintstones. What?
It is the Flintstones.
Oh, fuck you,
Tyler.
Flintstones. You're making me look bad.
It felt unnecessary and
Sorry.
you're doing it all on your own. All right, Tyler. I mean,
they're prehistoric. They've been dead a long time, buddy. They can't hear these
Did you
insults.
like the Flintstones?
Not at all.
It wasn't my jam either. None of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons were good for
the
me.
Jetsons, there was all nothing.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you.
Something weird was going. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, you ready for the very last one? This one I need for you to use your mind's eye again. Does the logo for the clothing company Fruit of the Loom have a cornucopia in it or not? Is it a cornucopia of fruit or is it just random fruit? Now, before you answer, a cornucopia is that horn-shaped thing that you associate with Thanksgiving dinner.
It's an odd-shaped basket, not something I would put fruit in.
Yeah, it is a weird shape.
It's a weird choice.
Who came up with cornucopia? More like cornopida, am I right?
I was going to say cornucopia, but whatever.
Tyler, you are incredible. You're doing great. Now,
thank you, buddy.
Does the logo for Fruit of the Loom, does it have a cornucopia in it? Or does it not have a cornucopia in it?
This is another one of those where my brain wants to say there is a cornucopia, but for some reason, I'm going to say no cornucopia.
Cornucopialess?
Yes, less on the cornucopia. Yes!
Tyler, great job finishing up. But of the 7,
say it with my chest.
You got 3 right and 4 wrong.
No!
But I think it proves our point that not that you're an expert or whatever, but that is the idea that it's just the shallow memory and you're remembering things wrong. Your memory, not that great of a tool.
I could have told you that before you put all this together. So much work for not.
Erase the show, Tyler. It's all good. We don't need to do it anymore. Great job this week, Tyler.
Thank you.
We got in here. We waded through it. We got it done.
Thank you.
Please tell these motherfuckers how they can get in touch with us.
To get in touch with us, just go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com and all the links are right there on the front. Click on them and subscribe. We need your support and we appreciate your support.
Thank you guys so much. Tyler, what is the moral of the story?
Guys, the moral of the story, I think, is going to be, it's going to be obvious, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway because I feel like we still have an issue with this. Don't go on spree killings. Please don't go on spree killings. There are so many different ways.
You're not the boss of me.
To get out your anger. Don't go on spree killings. It's very selfish.
Yeah,
it's like killing yourself in a hotel.
What do you
Somebody's got to clean that shit up. Very selfish.
Where's the right place to kill yourself?
Out in the field somewhere amongst the wild boars. They'll take care of it.
Did you see that corpse? He was outstanding in his field. You know what? I think that, I don't know, this rise in spree killing, this idea where people want to be famous for being the worst person that they possibly can, growing and notoriety, and the fact that having notoriety is that important nowadays. As two people who live right down the street from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, it can change, change a community, change the world. It's a scary time.
No doubt about it.
There was just a lockdown in my son's school because a kid brought a gun to school. Yeah.
Did he fire it in the air happily?
I don't believe so.
Bad job, kid. Ryan, what is the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is, I think that it may benefit you somehow. I know that it could me, is realizing when I look in the mirror that what I see looking back at me is not reality. It is little tweaks and little, things in my mind changing it around and always not being good enough.
Don't believe it.
Don't believe it. You're beautiful no matter what your mind says. We are those guys you hate.
Be kind or we'll kill you. It's like one of the worst sounds ever.
Down to Texas.
I saw that.
Woot woot.
That'd make me feel so good.
Hell yeah.
Red circle, by the way.
I don't give a shit about any of this, but nonetheless.
But it's not just that. It is rooting against Saban because he's a miserable person.
That's the only thing I care about, Tyler.
I'm rooting against misery when I root against him.
What about my Jemmy? My Jemmy no play?
Yeah, they won 30-7.
Who'd they play?
Spoiler alert, some unranked team. I don't know what's on there right now.
Good on ya, player. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, they did a flea flicker. It was like 35 yards, hit him in the touchdown.
Hit him in the touchdown, you said.
Hit him in the red zone.
We know sports.
And he fell right into the end zone.
Football is back, Tyler.
It is.
Football is back. Dan. I'm excited. I
They
am
played
not
Southern Miss.
I am not
30-7.
a big time sports guy, but damn, do I love having that on in the background, Tyler. That's a good time.
Very enjoyable.
Am I right?
We're getting our very first NFL Sunday this week. Very excited.
That one I really like because of our propensity to play
Fantasy football.
fantasy football.
Which nobody cares about, by the way. Much
No.
like other people's kids, nobody gives a shit about your fantasy football
Here's
team.
the thing, and here's why you're going to care about our fantasy football league. We don't do it like everybody else. It's actual fantasy. We dress up like wizards. There's an orc.
Okay. I thought you were going to say everybody dresses up in there as their football player, as a specific football player.
No.
Everybody knows you hate the fantasy landscape.
But
Nobody believes you.
I do it for the family. I have two leagues. I do that fantasy, and then we have like a fantasy fest football league where
A
everyone just
BDSM.
goes dick out. You know what I mean? Just dick out. Tyler,
Yes.
I am looking to do good.
You're a do-gooder.
I'm trying to be a do-gooder. I'm looking for times in my day, opportunities for me to do good. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
That's great. I think doing good is great. I think the world can
Doing
always.
good is great. Okay.
That's
go
right.
on.
The act of doing good is a great thing.
Doing good is good. Doing great is great. But no, and I'm
Are you arguing against me arguing on behalf of you?
Tyler, I'm not accustomed to this and I apologize.
I'm on your side, man.
I just don't like how you're saying it. You're saying it wrong.
Again, another absolute, well, like we were talking about earlier, very few absolutes in life. one of the few absolutes, doing good is always beneficial for the planet or our species, however you want to look at it.
Not for people who are evil. You're right. I'm fighting for no reason.
You're just going to scratch and claw to be a contrarian.
I'm not sure how much you're wrong about this, Tyler. Somehow, while agreeing with me, you're wrong and I'm right. But I've been looking to do good. And we talked about this on the show before, where doing good, doing something nice for people, perhaps this is different in different places in the world. For me, I'm an awkward person. It could be very anxiety filled. If somebody drops something on the floor, do you immediately pick it up? Or are you like, is this going to be weird? Is this lady going to think I'm mugging her? Because I am.
Well, the formula and equations I start doing to see whether I have enough time to make it to the object on the floor.
Are we going to bump heads?
Before we both reach for it at the same time. And now we awkwardly touch fingers.
Sure.
I don't want that. But by the time I do those equations, the object has been picked up.
That's the deal.
The moment has been lost.
I had this really nice moment. I was in the mall the other day. When was the last time you were in a mall?
I try to avoid
horrible places, Tyler. Don't go there. What is the deal with kids? Don't take your kids out.
You mean Petri dishes?
Nah,
just walking around with them.
Dude, don't take your kids out. It's like bringing the dogs into all these public places. Leave your kids at home.
I wouldn't go that far. I would say it's way more egregious to bring your dogs everywhere than your kids.
Much like your fantasy football team. Nobody gives a shit about your kids. Leave them in the car.
That was the point I made.
Sure.
I don't know about leave them in the car, though. That's illegal.
All right, fine. Leave them outside of the car, Tyler. I don't want to get into brass tacks here. I'm pitching ideas. There's no dumb ideas. So I walk up.
There are illegal ones.
On these two old biddies, okay?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I like to, when I'm on the podcast, I speak in a way I wouldn't normally. I try to be a bit more verbose, use vocabulary words that I wouldn't, to paint a picture.
Did you say biddies?
These two old biddies. I think that you use that for like two gossipy old women. I don't think I should have done it that way.
Okay.
And I'm in Macy's.
So what am I looking at right now? Paint a picture for me.
Two older women who work at Macy's. I don't know why I called them old biddies. I apologize. They weren't. They're very sweet.
This story is taking so much longer unnecessarily.
You're right. All right, let's start over. We'll edit that out.
I think this is funny.
So
you sin your shame with biddies. Keep the story moving.
I walk up on these bitches.
Go.
No, and they are setting up a display. There's these, I'm getting work clothes. So I'm in the nice, the suit area, And so they are lining up these nice collared shirts, and they have to take this thing that's underneath the table and completely turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So
like manual labor.
Actual manual labor. And this isn't just like a table you would have in your kitchen. It is a showpiece.
A heavy object.
So I said, ladies, let me, I'm in a tie and a shirt and slacks. I said, ladies, let me take care of this. Okay. That thing is heavy as shit. It was super heavy, man. It was, but we got it done. It took like a minute and 30 seconds.
Did they help you?
They tried to help me, but I felt bad watching them strain. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
They're sinewy and like sandpaper. It was bad. I just didn't like it.
And if one of them right then and there keels over from the exertion, you don't want to be next to the crime scene.
I killed one of these biddies. I killed a biddy. We're down a biddy.
You're welcome. Oh, he's closing the curtain all the way. Hence the pause in the sound.
That's curtains for you, kid. So we're down one biddy. And just the point of this whole thing, this long rambling story is, it was so nice. And I genuinely believe that right there, perhaps it's different for everybody. I don't know. But all those years of doing drugs and doing crazy, things, looking for rewards, I believe that feeling right there is the feeling that people are looking for. I think doing things for other people stimulate this part of your brain that feeds you with chemicals that you look for. It's a reward center kind of situation. Am I in kook alert territory? I'll hit the button.
No, I don't think so. I think everybody can agree that doing something very nice for somebody, especially a stranger, will make you feel good. There's no question about it. I respect that, but I am torn simply because while I do understand what you're saying, as I said, doing something nice for somebody, you feel good. Have you tried drugs before?
I have tried drugs.
Because they are tops, man.
Well, here's the thing. Help somebody out while you're just strung out on cocaine. Oh, the peaks.
Okay, that was oddly specific.
I'm peaking.
It was oddly specific.
It was genuinely very nice. And as we were just discussing, I'm hyper emotional. And I walked away from there kind of choked up because when you get that opportunity, a lot of times it's so easy to just walk right through it. And I really have put that out into the universe. Today at the gym, this guy that I just say what's up to, he was putting I stopped and just picked the thing up so I made it easier for him and then just walked away. Damn, did I look cool.
Thank you, hero.
Who was that guy?
That masked man who just passed by here.
And it was good. And all I'm going to throw on top of this is...
Thank you, Ryan.
There's only two of us here, so I'll
you have to try. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, I was going to look so foolish with just me doing it.
I would like to thank all the little people who helped me get here, which was me. While I was at the mall, I saw those massaging chairs. You know, those
Ridiculous.
leather recliners that wrap around your calves, wrap around your forearms.
There's no human involved. You can't get a happy ending.
Are you positive there is not a human in there? Do we know that for a fact?
You think there's just somebody in there just shaking it really hard?
They're just using their knuckles and twisting like they're kneading dough.
No happy ending on those, Ryan.
You have to do it yourself. It's a DIY happy ending.
I'm paying for this?
And this is why I said there shouldn't be kids here.
Well, now you have a strong argument.
Here's the thing, okay? Have you ever seen, I know you don't go to the mall a bunch. I have seen a million people sitting in those chairs. If you go to a busy afternoon to Sawgrass Mills Mall or go to the Dolphin Mall right here, I see people sitting in those chairs all the time.
Yeah.
I have never seen somebody put money in them. People are just sitting in the chairs.
Oh, yeah.
They're not doing shit. They're just sitting in your chairs.
Yeah.
But they're paying you an ass sweat. You know what I mean? It's a metaphor.
It's an investment.
Yeah, it's an investment.
I got
sure.
you.
Just at the end of the day, you just kind of squeeze it into a cup and you take that home with you.
Jackass already did this bit.
All that I'm saying is it's like at a water park, you've never seen somebody in line at a urinal. It's the only place in the whole park where there is no line is a urinal. Nobody's paying for those effing chairs, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do this with me?
I'm just wondering what the plot of all this is. Is this you railing against people sitting in the chairs and not paying for them?
I've invested in some of those chairs, Tyler.
There it is.
And you guys,
terrible investment.
You guys are monsters.
Terrible investment. You want to wait until we're done recording the pregame before you take a bite of your food every week with this?
It was part of my character, Tyler.
It's not part of your character.
And I hate it.
You're not.
I hate it.
No, you don't.
I'm a slave to my craft.
You got a shit-eating grin on your face right now.
What do you think is in here? Let's do the show.